Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Better Car Washing Everywhere. This is the podcast for you if you are a car wash professional, or maybe you're just car wash curious. We're here for it. So, I'm your host, Matt DeWolf. We are very, very transparent on this show. We do not have sponsors. We do not take ad revenue. But if you do have a problem that needs solved, and it's related to marketing and or content, I'm happy to help you out. Anyway, I will take your money, just not for this show. So, let's dive into a topic that is very, very prevalent today. We've been talking about it for years because as this industry continues to grow, guess what? That means more competition. So everybody wants to know, is my market saturated? And oh my gosh, the big guys coming in. What's that going to do to my business? What's going to happen to me? Is the sky falling, Chicken Little? And so today we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to figure out exactly how founded those fears are. And to do that, I'm going to bring in Jordan O'Day and Fransua Perez from Wash Rescue. Guys, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
This is going to be something. This is like, I feel like this is all I talk about sometimes. But nevertheless, it is important because, you spend your money and you spend your energy and you build up a business and then competition comes in. It is a little bit scary. I kind of want to know, is that fear founded? Like, should I be afraid? Although I should say, hold on, let's back up just a second. If folks were not fortunate enough to listen to any of the previous episodes where you all have been on, they don't know who you are. So give us the 60-second version of where you all came from. Jordan, why don't you start?
Hi, how's it going? Jordan here. Been reintroduced into the car wash space since 2019. Did everything from single site, multi-site, construction, real estate, and software sales. Started up a consulting group, solutions platform, Wash Rescue, with my partner, Fransua. I'll turn it over to him.
Perfect, yeah. Got into the car wash space 2020. Came on board with Jordan, ran single site, multi-site, and Jordan and I figured we should go out here and help guys all around the space because we were running a top 1% car wash. We say we can share this knowledge with the world, so we're out here to help guys. Excited to be here, Matt.
Yeah,
thanks.
I love that, man. Francois, that's the spirit of this industry, right? Helping people all get better together by sharing what we know and what we've kind of done so that everybody else doesn't have to trip and stumble along the way. So love that you guys are doing that. I have a huge problem here. I need to know if I'm afraid of that competition coming in, is the fear founded? What do you guys think?
Yes and no to a certain extent. Depends on your.
I knew that was coming. It depends. Whatever.
It does. So I'll say this, or Jordan, if you want to start us off, and then I'll jump behind you.
Yeah, I can kick us off with some data. So having worked for a large software company in the car wash space, and just having the exposure that we've had, we've been able to figure out that when the second, let's just say you're the only game in town, you've been there 20 years, whatever the case may be, 5 to 20, doesn't matter. When site number 2 ends up popping up, even across the street, site number 1 may or may not see an immediate small dip, depending on what type of operation, program, competition the guy or gal across the street's doing. But in the short term, the 6, 12, 18, and 24 months, both of those sites actually grow in business. There's something becomes when the townspeople starts to see car washes and people using car washes, and they're driving by and they're seeing people vacuum. Oh, wait a minute. There's something about that top of line marketing and advertising. Now, there's a caveat. If you're on the same side of the road and they're out positioning you and they're easier to use, they got better people, they got a better product, and it's less expensive, and they make you feel good. You're really in for a hurting with competition if you're on the other end of that spectrum, right?
So when you're the person that's in the better position with all those advantages, then competition to you is not as much of a big deal. I've seen operators that are in a position where they've got 9 competitors within 3 to 5 mile space, and they're doing better because of it. Because those customers are so used to car washes, they can recognize who's the better one, and they just go to the best one. So it actually works in their favor.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like it's the same concept as Starbucks, right? Or CVS and Walgreens or the McDonald's. Like that whole idea of more of the things build more of the activity, which builds demand for the customer. That's just sort of what we're looking at here, right?
To an extent. But, as you could probably attest to, you've seen in the space over the last 6 years, with PE money getting injected and, labor becoming more and more of a premium and more of a scarcity, not only a fiscal premium, but rare,
Right.
finding great people. Everybody wants to go for this, express exterior model, which is great. You can really run 1, 2, 3 people, if you really wanted to, and drive down labor and help keep the costs down. But, then everybody's doing the same thing. Now, what are you doing different than the other guys? So it's funny you brought up McDonald's. I like to use the McDonald's and the Capitol Grill analogy. Some of the larger groups, 300, 400, 500 car wash locations, the McDonald's of the world, they don't have the bandwidth. And this is what we tell our clients. They don't have the bandwidth to do what the mom and pop, the township onesie, twosies, 3 to 5s can do. They can't move as fast. They can't pivot as fast. They can't change promotions. They don't have the focus to put in the right person and really take care of customers at a high level. And oftentimes it's somebody in a chair not unlike this on a spreadsheet, justifying their role and shaving down labor hours and simultaneously imploding their business, and they don't even know it. So there's a lot of different factors here, Matt, that we help encourage our mom and pops to fight back.
I got one for you. I think you guys are gonna love this. We hear it all the time. Operators want to be the Chick-fil-A of car washes. I hear that all the time. All the time. But when you really think about it, I don't know, Matt, when was the last time you went to a Chick-fil-A? I see a lot of people working in there. There's a lot of people in there. Listen, they're efficient. They process things well. They've got a good brand standard, and the hospitality, that's what they're known for. But they have a lot of people working in that space to make that happen. You've got 2 or 3 people up front that are taking your order. You got the runners that are bringing the food out when you're in the line. You got people in the kitchen. It's a lot. So it's hard to be that, if that's what you're looking for, when you're only running so few people. Like, how can you differentiate yourself amongst the other express car washes? Can't be Chick-fil-A if there's only one person.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Well, and one of the other things that you're starting to see, right, is that as you get more of these car washes, and as customers start to use more different brands of car washes, they are starting to notice, Fransua, like you said, they're starting to get educated about what's a good wash and what's not. And so when you start thinking about, hey, what does my maintenance program look like? Hey, what are my online offerings here, like in terms of what's in the tunnel, what's actually getting applied to the car? Customers will start to figure that out, and if you're skimping on anything along the lines there, you're gonna get found out. And the reality is if you're not making those maintenance procedures and you don't have a strong process for upgrading, maintaining, and replacing equipment, customers are gonna get that figured out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Let me say this, Jordan. I think you're going to love this because you remember it. We had a customer one time that left a Google review for us. And in his Google review, he took a picture of his car, beautiful, it's shiny. And he said, "This is an S-tier car wash. I drive past 6 other car washes. I drive for 20 minutes just to come to this one because of how good it is." And he was showcasing that to the world. And that's the difference. You want people that understand that everybody else before you, not good, and that you're the best option. And we loved hearing that. I mean, that was early on, and it was incredible to get that. And I think about it to this day.
That's funny.
People talk about, you mentioned about the people and the staffing size of a Chick-fil-A, and obviously the margins are not quite as good as a car wash business, typically speaking. But when it comes to Chick-fil-A, what they really have gotten good at is they manage systems and processes. You can't manage people, because then it becomes people versus people. You need to have systems and processes, documented procedures, training, documents, trainers, the list goes on. That creates a culture piece. And that, ultimately at the end of the day, if you have the right people and you wash a clean car, you're selling feel good, because that's, you're competing for that retail dollar with everyone else on the street as far as I'm concerned, not just other car washes.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't, and if you're a smaller operation and you haven't put those processes in place, you could be in a little bit of trouble, right? Because you're not going to run as lean, you're not going to be as efficient, you're not going to be able to do as much with the resources you have as some of these groups that maybe come in and have a really efficient way of doing their business. So even if you don't aspire to be 10 locations, build your processes like you're going to. Like build your processes like you're going to be that big.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so besides like, I don't know, continuing to wash a good car and like focusing on what maybe we are best at, as a small operator, what do we do about it? Right? Competition's coming in. What do we do about it?
So we've recently had a couple clients that we've gone through this exact same process with, encroaching competition, outpositioned, older facility, lacking standard operating procedures. The list goes on. And one of the low-hanging fruits we've been able to identify and to roll out successfully multiple times over is what we like to call a express interior, and basically turn some of these express locations that aren't doing 1,000 plus, 800, 500 plus cars a day. They typically have a couple extra vacuum spots.
Yeah.
And we typically recommend some sort of abbreviated full service. Right now, if you have 40,000 cars driving by, 70%, 60 to 70% are going to be automatically express exterior customers who want it in and out, quick. And the other 30% are your full services. Now, what we've seen in the space is either all full serve or all express. Nobody's doing kind of finding that middle ground. So what we've been able to do is implement like a 10-minute interior cleaning that if your tunnel's working properly, the outside touch-up should take nothing but a couple seconds. And with one team member, you can drive that APC from $12, $11, $12, $13 per car up to $20, $22, $27, $30 plus per car with this additional service that really doesn't take up a lot of labor. And now all of a sudden you have a wedge separating you from the competition. And now you have an opportunity to catch every single one of those fish driving by as opposed to just a chunk of them. So that's helping our operators drive more revenue and like immediately.
The inverse is also true. Jordan talked about an express that's becoming a flex, but a full serve becoming a flex is also highly valuable. Because again, now for people that want full serve, that is a much smaller chunk of people that have to go in and dedicate 20 to 30 minutes or longer of time for a full serve car wash. If you implement the flex where you have some self-serve vacuums and the ability for them to just drive through, now you appeal to everyone. And that's a winning formula for a lot of people. And that's a wedge. And a lot of guys in the space, they might be the only full serve in town and surrounded by 10 other expresses. If they just have that flex option, why would anyone go anywhere else? You get everything you need at this one site.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's really interesting because, many people would say, hey, if you're a full serve in a predominantly express exterior market, just keep being a really good full serve. But I don't know, man. Like I would be in that camp normally, but I don't know. Like there's something to, what if I can still offer a really good full serve in addition to enabling access to be an express? I don't know. That feels pretty good to me.
I want you to put
Ready
yourself...
for the magic?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was about to get... Go ahead, hit it.
I'm ready for the magic. Sure.
Here's the magic of this, Matt. So not only do you have the additional, and instead of an unlimited APC averaging between $25 and $32 for an exterior plan, now you're going to start pushing that needle up because you can demand a higher price value for those full serve members, right? B, you can offer free interior cleaning in exchange for any exterior membership purchase. So that makes it that much easier to move the needle on that front. And then, oh, by the way, I'm getting the chills, Matt. You know what's coming. Every inch counts. Hey, we found out the data tells us that those customers who are averaging 3.3 to 3.5 times per month washes only come by and get the inside done once per month.
Yep.
Do the math on that. It starts to add up real quick. There's a little bit of red tape rolling out these programs because staffing could be so variable. Hey, I got one or two people. I had 5 flex serves come in. Now all of a sudden I can't provide a bad experience. But once you get past that red tape, that 2, 3, 4 month lead time max, all of a sudden that hard work and those efforts start paying dividends. And word gets around town that you do it all.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I like that a lot.
Let me add in this as well. People that get worried about being a full serve and maybe converting to that flex model, they think that their full serve business is going to go down because a lot of those people will convert to the express. And that's not necessarily the case. Once you have that, actually both sides of the business go up because for all the express people that come in, because if you're the only game in town that's doing both, they'll come in and do their expresses 3 times, and that 4th time they'll decide to do that upgrade. And you get more and more people like that. Your full serve business stays like it was, starts growing now with that extra business from the express side, and you're winning. You're winning on both ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's all about, we've talked about it a million times. It's about exposure and it's about people seeing the activity. And if you're a full service car wash, you are only reaching X amount of market with your product. And if suddenly you have a whole different market that you can reach, well, yeah, guess what? People in that market didn't even know you existed. So now all of a sudden, oh, I didn't know I could get my leather conditioned. This is amazing. You know? Yeah. There you go.
So have we converted you? Are you a believer now?
I don't know yet. I mean, I kind of got to play both sides. So, you know, we'll see. I might be converted. This is completely off topic, but we're going to talk about it anyway because I want to. I at one point, and this doesn't actually make sense, but I'm going to put it out there into the universe so that if anybody wants to try something crazy, they could try it. I have thought multiple times about what if there were options for a business that were interior only, like an express version. You just pop up the same kind of tunnel, but you don't have to deal with all the extra stuff that you would have to do in a normal car wash site. And all you're going to do is go in and you're going to get the express detail service, and then you're on your way. That's probably not going to work until the robots are here, but that was my thing. That was my crazy idea at some point.
You know, it's funny. I've seen places run the full serve belts and the full serve tunnels like Tommy's, or, you know, they just put a triple belt, 2 full serves and a tunnel belt. But I'm sure that's an option. But to your point, they never offer that. It's always you have to get the outside done.
Yeah,
so
you have to get the whole package. But what if you just did the thing?
Some people do that in the full serve hand wash market where they'll do detail scheduling and stuff. But you know, typically the inside's a little bit more labor intensive than the outside, regardless of the detail level. So that's why they typically fold it in, probably.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, I'm already thinking about it. Yeah. What if you had a dedicated lane
that
just said, you know, you have your pay lanes, you've got your members lane, and what if you had a detail only today lane, and those are maybe your members
hazmat lane.
And they go through and then they go around just to the detailing side, right? And that's it. So I see what you're saying.
There's a wash in Indiana that I'm not sure where they're at with this today. At one point, they did have the option where you could just use their vacuum. It's beautiful indoor vacuum space, so you could go in and use that. They also have a spot where they do have the interior clean, the express detail clean. I don't think you could ever use that. You could pay specifically to go around and only use the interior vacuums, which makes sense because it's like northern Indiana, so it can get cold and, you know, gross. So that was cool. But I don't know if they ever did anything with the express detailing piece. And I don't know. Does it move the needle? Maybe not. Is it interesting? It is to me. So that's why we talked about it.
Okay.
The Colorado market, same kind of idea, Matt. Just the one last ping off of the busiest washes I've seen in Colorado Springs year to date. Cut this out. Are the self-serves, the do-it-yourselves.
Yeah.
I think it's the culture thing. They're spraying off the mud from the four-wheelers, their trailers. So I'm thinking in my head, I got these misters and quick quacks, and they got 35 vacuum spots, and there's only 2 people ever. Why don't they put a couple in bays where they can zap the RFID and they get 15 minutes of in-bay washing, you know, to do yourself? I mean, there's all sorts of different stuff that just people aren't even trying.
Yeah. At what point does it become more of a mixed model space, right?
It's happening
like
right in front of us.
One person offering mixed model all in front of you.
Volunteers really trying to do that with DRB and preach a lot of that. You're tying in tread wear to oil count to automatic vehicle mobility through the tunnels. And, you know, I think it's becoming less of a one-trick pony shop. People are having to diversify.
It's really interesting that car washes, you know, if you think 25 years ago, it was the car wash, oil change, lube shop, all in one, right? And then it split, fragmented, and became hyper-focused.
Like, bring it back.
And now we're coming back, right? It's just all coming back together. It's really funny.
That's funny. Different. Well, Texas still doesn't.
Yeah. Let's stay on this path a little bit. Let's talk about the future. What do we think the future looks like? Is are we ultimately racing toward a lower margin business / industry? Like,
I don't think so.
Are we going to get so saturated that, you know, it's it's not quite as profitable as it used to be?
I don't think so. So Jordan, you're gonna hear this example, you're gonna laugh because I've told you this before. I like to think of it as the malls. I've talked about this
Right.
example for many times, and you know, back in the heyday of the malls, they were everywhere. You had every kind of mall. Everyone was doing it. It was the place to be. And then as time went on, malls, you see them, they're abandoned all over the place, except the highest performing malls, the high end malls, or the mid tier to high end.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones that are around. And if I had to take a guess on it, I would think that car washing is going to go the same way. That only the best are going to survive, and the guys that can't keep up, are not putting out a good product, don't have the best people, all those things, they're going to be gone, and only the best will survive eventually.
We're starting to see that in oversaturated markets where operators are underproducing. We're starting to see that consolidation in the field like today. I mean, we've seen it with the Zips announcement, a couple other big announcements and acquisitions. You know, a lot of people are borrowing a lot of money at higher rates and overexpanding and overextending. And the same in the restaurant industry. There's a reason why In-N-Out only built 3 to 5 sites a year for 65, 80 years, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't keep the people and the talent, the training, procedures, and everything the way they wanted it to continue that long-term success. Now, to Francois's point, in the next 0, 5, 10, 20 years, I think it's going to be a little bit more cutthroat. I mean, this is the last of the dying breed in the mom and pop world.
Yeah.
Nail salons, car washes, what's left? Salons. I mean, there's not a ton. So I think there's always going to be a niche. Like we've seen the restaurant space over the last 20 years kind of consolidate. QSRs blow up, gobble up mom and pops. COVID wiped out a lot of mom and pops. Now all you almost see is corporate entities on every street corner. There's still a niche. People still go out and find the best of the best.
Yep.
People are willing to go out and look for it and make it happen. Now, long term, 40, 50, 60 years, who knows? If big corporate has their way, no one will own anything, in my opinion, and everything will be some sort of lease or membership, including this probably monitor at some point. But, I think that eventually these vehicles are going to be taken care of in some sort of fleet capacity to where they're just washed off site on a warehouse that shows up, picks you up for work, drops you off, you pay your monthly lease, and you don't have to manage it. But I think we're a long way off from there.
Yeah.
So, I still think there's a bright future over the next at least 20 plus years of runway in this car wash space to be very successful and profitable and above and beyond if you really are doing what you need to be doing. There's always going to be a niche for great business.
I like that. I like that analogy to the good restaurants, right? Like, yeah, I'm still looking for my farm to table. Where's my farm to table? Get me over there. Yeah. That's fun. There's a time and a place for all the offerings, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so one of the things that I see in this space, when people get a little bit concerned with competition coming in, is they think, well, they offer X or Y or Z. Now I have to do it. I have to do what they do. I have to chase it. That's not always the best strategy. How do we avoid that? How do we avoid feeling like it's keeping up with the Joneses? How do we avoid that sort of syndrome?
I got it. You have to understand, if you think that you're losing business because of competition, we've done this with clients before. I tell them, let's hop in the car, let's go drive to these other businesses and see what they look like compared to yours. And oftentimes what they see is more of the same. They think that everyone's kind of doing just about the same thing, or they'll notice where their business is shining compared to their competitors. And I say focus on where you may think that you're weak and try to bolster those areas. And you don't have to copy everything they're doing. Just focus on what you do well and keep hammering that and just fix what you're not doing so well. I mean, I've seen operators that are, again, hyper condensed spaces with other car washes nearby, really saturated, that are not offering a whole lot. And they're winning against guys that are offering everything from the towels to take home to the air compressors in the car. Those things are nice, but it's not going to win you the race. And so copying that doesn't mean that you're going to have success.
Yeah. So a lot of guys like to call it, you've seen it in Atlanta, you've seen it in Detroit, in some areas, they call it the race to the bottom. So instead of looking at their business from an overhead view and really hyper analyzing and figuring out where they can provide more value, the easy, or like I like to say, lazy way to try to compete is to drop down price, is pull down price. But that's not where you're going to win at. You're devaluing your brand. And ultimately, at the end of the day, those customers who do go around and bounce around to new store promotion, a new store promotion, a new store promotion, either A, they're going to find their way back to you because you're outperforming with better people, product, profit, and physical plant, or B, they weren't your customer anyways. So let's go figure out how to acquire new customers. So that's a big thing. And, Fransua, you hit the nail on the head. Our sites that we ran in Florida had 10, 9, and 12,000 plus members respectively at the 3 locations in 3 different cities with no other cross utilization in town. They were one-offs in random cities with competition everywhere. No towels, no air, no bottles, no cleaner, no this, no that. And that's for a reason. We beat them out with feel good, faster service, better people, better wash. And then, this is the magic, Matt. God forbid you had some sort of membership base kind of, insulating you from the competition, which always helps. But hey, competition's still going to come in. If you need to bring out a wedge, hey, now introducing new compressed air for all our members. Now introducing new towel area for we didn't do towels. So you have those tricks in your back pocket to then fold out. So sometimes it's not always the best thing to offer everything day one. Maybe it's sometimes better to keep a couple tricks in your back pocket for when you need something to kind of separate you from the competition.
Yeah, Jordan said it right. The guys that jump from promotion to promotion at different washes, it's funny because he and I have both seen them come right back to the wash, and they would tell you, nobody was as good as you guys. Even with less, amenities, right? They just come back. And that's just focusing on what matters most. People want a clean car. They want strong vacuums. They want to feel good about where they're going.
Yeah, they want vacuums that do suck. And they want a good experience at the end of the day. You can't ever pass up a good vacuum joke. I mean, come on.
One of our mentors used to tell us, it's like, hey, having a clogged vacuum is like serving a hot, juicy hamburger with a cold plate of fries. It just doesn't satiate, doesn't get me there.
Yeah.
I'm close, but
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so if there's one thing we can do, right? What's like the single most important thing that we as operators should be doing to just kind of insulate ourselves from that competition? We know it's going to come. It's going to be there eventually. What do we do to protect ourselves? One thing.
Focus on your product. Focus on improving your product. Improve your services. Like, so I know services is more than one thing, but improve that. Focus on what you're doing well and keep doing that, and they'll keep coming to you.
I'm going to speak to the single unit operator right now, is have somebody from the outside come in and put a second set of eyes in your business. Even when I was working for corporate entities as a single site manager, restaurants, car washes, etc., sometimes when you're in it every single day and you're staring at the same things over and over, it's almost like having a blind nose to something that's not quite right, but you can't put your finger on it. So sometimes having that outside perspective, whether it be a customer, a team member, a family friend, whoever the case may be, wash rescue, sometimes it helps kind of, uncode and untangle and provide some clarity as to what really is going on, unbiased, with an unbiased opinion, so.
That's a good one. I really like that approach. It's like, go drive the other washes and look at the competition and do all those things, but have somebody else come look at your operation. Like, what are you doing? What are you missing? Because you're in it every day. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We talk about marketing all the time, and everyone wants the magic bullet on marketing and getting customers there, but there's no more important marketing. We call it 4 walls marketing. 4 walls in a parking lot in the car wash business. So, there's nothing more powerful than word of mouth and doing right by the customer every single time with consistency. Chick-fil-A, that's going to win them over.
Well, yeah, I mean, marketing doesn't matter if the experience doesn't align.
100%.
It just doesn't.
Exactly.
All right, well, I could let you off the hook on that question, but I always have one more question. This is one of my favorite questions. I've asked this question for a very long time, but I think it's really a fun one. So, And I'm going to blabber a little bit to give you guys time to think about it as I ask it.
Okay.
What's one thing, just one thing, that we could all be doing today that's going to make us better tomorrow? So this generally focuses on something that's habit based. So you might say we should sleep more hours in the night. You might say we need to watch every car come out the end of the tunnel. You might say lots of things. You can say anything you want to, but I'm really interested to know what's one thing that you think that we could all do today that's going to make us better tomorrow.
I got one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You could have quarterly reviews of your own personal life to see where you are in your own goals and review yourself. Have your goals for the year, for a quarter, for a month, however you want to split it up, but go back and make sure to review those. If it's once a year, it's once a year, but touch on those again and see where you are. How can you know that you're getting better in your own life if you're not measuring it and tracking it? And it's funny, we talk about that from the business sense, but why not in the personal sense? If you made that New Year's resolution, but it fell apart in March, how you need to go back and review that stuff.
Yeah, they fall apart because we're not tracking and reviewing, right? We're not measuring it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's funny.
Mine is sometimes I got to remind myself, this is the number one most powerful tool that you own. And, once I turn people onto it, they start using it. Use your Siri, use your whatever Android version is. I forget, Cortana. Hey, Siri, please remind me tomorrow at 7 a.m. I should show you the reminders on my phone. I have my personal assistant I've already paid for in full. No insurance, no non-slips required. And she helps keep track of my life. So highly recommend using reminders and services in your phone. Critical in my life.
Yeah, and for everything, right? Like, hey, Siri, remind me to write that thank you note to XYZ. Yep.
Yes.
My phone almost went off when you said that.
Speaking of phones,
mine's going off right now.
Yeah.
Mine's going off right now. Oh, no.
I'm breaking the rules. I'll hit you with a second. ChatGPT now allows a talk feature on your cell phone. So if you download the app, I was driving cross country, and you can ask it questions. So I'm asking, how many pounds is it safe to tow? At what point is a fishtail?
I think that's a little too late to be asking the question.
I mean, you already jumped it, man, my friend. You already jumped it.
33 hours, me and my chatbot, we were having a good old time. So anyway, if you're ever lonely, that's another solution too. So I'll leave it at that one.
Guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It's been really fun to kind of hear some of what you all are focusing on and how you all are helping operators, especially as it relates to, the dreaded competition coming into the market. So thanks for sharing some of your expertise with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us.
Awesome. Friends, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, wherever you're consuming this content, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do if you want this show to continue. And if you have a problem that you just can't solve, hit me up. Let's talk about it. I love talking about car washing, especially with my car wash friends. And just one more thing for you, my most important thing, and I say this all the time, go out there today, look somebody in the eyes, and tell them the impact that they have on your life or on your business. It'll mean a lot to them, and it'll make you happy too. All right, friends, we'll see you real soon.